He didn't look up when he said it. "We're not responsible for your son." The office smelled like lemon cleaner and cheap confidence. My badge was already deactivated. My health insurance, my kid's lifeline, was already gone. 15 years reduced to a sterile sentence and a shrug. He leaned back, fingers steepled, and added the knife twist like an afterthought. "If you'd worked harder, maybe he wouldn't be suffering." I nodded, calm, still, a man learning the shape of a new enemy. I remember when he hired me. I was younger, hungrier. He shook my hand like we were building something together, promised growth, loyalty, a future. I gave him my nights, my weekends. I gave him the years you don't get back. I covered mistakes that weren't mine, fixed fires he started. When the company stumbled, I became the brace. When it soared, he took the stage. When my son got sick, I told him because I trusted him, because 15 years earns you the truth. He clasped my shoulder and said, "Family first." He said it like a virtue he owned. I believed him. That was my mistake. The change came quietly. Meetings moved without me. Emails arrived after decisions were made. The tone shifted from we to you. Performance metrics appeared out of nowhere, calibrated to be just out of reach. I felt the floor tilt. I didn't panic. I documented. Dates, times, messages. I watched him reroute accounts I built to his nephew. I watched HR start asking questions they already had answers for. Then the audit notice hit my inbox, an internal review. That's when I knew. Reviews don't happen to people you plan to keep. I kept my mouth shut. Control is oxygen. The day he fired me, he tried to make it sound procedural, restructuring, alignment. He slid the severance packet across the desk like a mercy. I noticed the clause about immediate benefits termination. I asked, calmly, for an extension, just long enough to keep my son covered. He smiled, the kind that thinks it's won. That's when he said it. That's when I stopped being an employee. I didn't explode. I went quiet. Nuclear doesn't mean loud, it means precise. First move, I requested my full personnel file. Legal right. I copied everything. Second move, I called an old client he'd poached from my portfolio. Casual conversation. I asked how they liked the new terms. They didn't know about the new terms. Interesting. Third move, I filed a complaint with compliance. Not emotional, just facts. Timelines, attachments. He'd been shifting costs, double billing consulting hours, routing vendor kickbacks through a shell that traced back to his brother-in-law. Sloppy. He'd never expected me to look. While compliance warmed up, I went to the state insurance board. There are rules about terminating benefits during medical necessity. There are penalties for cruelty dressed as policy. I didn't threaten. I submitted. Then I went to the labor attorney, the good one, the one who listens without interrupting. He didn't smile when I finished. He nodded. We'll proceed. Weeks passed. I lived in hospitals and hallways. My son slept under wires and hope. I learned to function on coffee and purpose. The company didn't know what was coming. They thought I was broken. People like my boss mistake silence for surrender. The first domino fell when compliance froze discretionary spending. The second, when a client called him, not me, and asked why their invoices were under investigation. The third, when HR scheduled a meeting and he wasn't allowed counsel. I watched from a distance, no gloating, just observation. The confrontation happened where it began. Same office, same lemon cleaner. He looked smaller. His voice cracked on my name. He tried to spin it. Misunderstanding. He tried to guilt me. You didn't have to do this. I finally spoke. Quiet, measured. You did this, I said, when you decided my son was expendable. I slid a single page across the desk, a timeline, clean, undeniable. I watched his eyes read the ending before his mouth did. He reached for authority that wasn't there anymore. I worked harder than you ever did, I added. I just didn't steal. Security walked him out an hour later. The board accepted his resignation by sunset. The company announced an internal ethics overhaul by morning. They reinstated my benefits retroactively, covered the bills, offered a settlement. I took it. Every cent went where it belonged. I don't feel guilt. I feel relief. I learned something in the quiet after. Power isn't the corner office. It's knowing the rules better than the men who break them. It's patience. It's choosing when to speak and when to sharpen the blade. My son is healing. I sit by his bed and listen to the machines do their steady work. I think about the man who thought effort was measured by obedience. He was wrong. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't beg. I documented. I waited. I executed. Justice doesn't always wear a cape. Sometimes it wears a calm face and keeps receipts.